Miami Music Week can change your entire career in 7 days, but only if you show up with a plan. In this episode, I'm going to give you the exact strategy to walk into any room, confidently introduce yourself, and turn random conversations into real opportunities. Whether you're trying to get your first booking or scale to the next level, this is how you actually make Miami Music Week work for you. Ever wonder how top DJs actually built their careers?
I had to do 15 years of hard work to get any of the recognition that I wanted.
Where I saw a turning point in my career is when I became true to myself.
From marketing and mindset to networking and negotiation, I'm giving you the tools you need to build a lasting career in dance music.
Give them bits of you and your everyday life.
You have to change the way you view the word no. Like me, I'm encouraged by it.
Join me, Olivia Mancuso, and industry leaders as we reveal what it really takes to turn your passion into profit. This is Elevated Frequencies. This episode is sponsored by Laylo, where culture drops first. Laylo is the drop platform and CRM used by artists and promoters like Fisher, Chris Lake, James Hype, Mochak, Weathen, and tech support to create hype around big moments and build a direct line to fans. With Laylo, you can capture phone numbers from social media and message your biggest supporters when tickets or merch go live, plus reward them with exclusives. It works across SMS, email, WhatsApp, and Instagram DMs with integrations like Shopify and Spotify, voicemail hotlines, and a complete tour suite when you're ready to hit the road. Laylo makes it easy and affordable for DJs to drop in your style and build a fandom that lasts. Use the link in our show notes for 15,000 free messaging credits with code Olivia15. Welcome to your weekly elevation, your dose of real strategies for real results in dance music. I'm Olivia, and today we are talking about Miami Music Week once again. Miami Music Week is in like 3 weeks, and I know a lot of you are either scrambling to figure out your game plan or you're on the fence about whether it's even worth going. So consider this your strategic survival guide. We're going to cover: is it actually worth flying halfway across the world for Miami Music Week? How to craft an elevator pitch that doesn't make people's eyes glaze over. How to network without feeling like a desperate opportunist. And why you should seriously consider coming to Miami Music Nexus on March 26th instead of, or in addition to, all the chaos. Now, before anyone comes at me like, oh, you're just promoting your own event, well, yeah, I am. Because after attending the past couple years and seeing the difference between events that actually care about your success versus events that just want your ticket money, I am very intentional about where I spend my time and where I tell you to spend yours. So let's get into it. So is Miami Music Week worth it? Okay, real talk. Is Miami Music Week worth flying halfway across the world for, or a country for? The answer is yes, but only if you go with specific goals in mind. You don't just show up hoping magic will happen. Don't just go because you saw everyone else posting about it and you have FOMO. Don't go thinking you're just gonna like vibe and see what happens. You need to treat this like the FBI. I have an FBI approach to Miami Music Week, and here's what that means. Phase 1 is intelligence gathering. Now, before any event, and especially before Miami Music Week, you need to do your homework. Study recent events and projects of all the people you want to connect with. So who's the key players? Who's all going to be there? What panels are happening? What showcases are going down? And create a notes file for each venue, promoter, label, or artist you want to connect with. I am so dead serious about this. The amount of research I do before a major event would probably scare you. Okay, after that, phase 2 is target identification. You need to look for who is actually making the decisions, because it's probably not who you think. Now, you also need to think about who's influencing decisions, because these people often get mistaken for decision makers, but they're not. They're actually the gatekeepers. You also need to look for who's consistently present in the scene. Now, honestly, here's a little hack. You should probably dig through Facebook friends lists, because these are super telling for long-standing connections, because people don't unfriend on Facebook like they unfollow on Instagram. So you can get some real juicy intel here. All right, phase 3 is your engagement strategy. Here's the right order. First, you need to observe these connections you want to make, observe their content. You need to engage meaningfully on social media. Before you attend their event, add value where possible. Don't just leave fire emojis. So, leave comments with like real feedback on their Instagram post or wherever you're connecting. Make a natural connection, build the relationship, and then explore opportunities. You can't skip these steps. You can't just go straight to, hey, can you sign my track or can you book me? Now, of course, Miami Music Week is in 3 weeks. So as you're listening to this episode, I recommend you starting this right now. Phase 4, the next step is field operations. So at the event, let's say you've done all of the above, you're going to Miami Music Week, you need to arrive with clear intel, you need to know who you want to meet in person, you need to have genuine questions ready for them, and you need to look for ways to add value. You need to plan your follow-up strategy before you leave the conversation. So have all of these things in mind before you go and actually talk to someone at an event. Now, a golden rule here, when you approach someone, make it about them. Show that you've done your homework. If you can't commit to this level of preparation, then honestly, save your money for Music Week because it's expensive. Hotels are outrageous, flights are packed, Ubers are gonna drain your bank account. But if you are willing to do all of this preparation, then yes, Miami Music Week is worth it. Okay, so you've done your research, you know who you wanna meet, so now what? You need to be able to describe who you are and what you do in less than 30 seconds without fumbling. This is what's called your elevator pitch, and it's a non-negotiable. Because here's the thing, at Music Week, you might randomly run into someone important. You might be backstage or like in line for the bathroom. You might be at a pool party. And if you can't clearly and confidently articulate what you do, you just wasted an opportunity. So let's break down what your elevator pitch should include. The components. Number 1, who's your artistry for? Your target audience. Number 2, what you sound like, the genre and the style, but not overly technical. Number 3, maybe who you sound like, artist references if they're done strategically. Number 4, the evocative mood and emotion. Use descriptive, feeling-based words. Number 5, what you stand for, your values and what makes you different. Number 6, your accolades if you have them. So releases, bookings, press features. Now, you don't need to cram all of this into one sentence, but you should be able to pull from these elements depending who you're talking to. So there's a couple different methods to crafting your pitch. Method 1 is the Frankenstein method. So combine 2 artists, one classic that everyone knows and one current that shows your relevance. So an example, if Disclosure produced a Donna Summers, it's Donna Summer, right? Yeah, not an S. If Disclosure produced a Donna Summer record. Or number 2, if 9 Inch Nails had Rez's synths, that sort of thing. Now, the second method is the I'm right for you method. So I make blank for blank. I make genre for audience. So an example, bass music for metalheads who found raves, or house music for people who love Sade. That would be me. This method is powerful because it immediately tells someone whether your music is for them or not, and that's a good thing. You want to filter. Now, on the flip side, you should avoid technical jargon because no one cares. Your origin story, like, oh, I've been playing piano since I was 3. You need to avoid redundant words, generic phrases like don't say, oh, I'm a unique mix of, melodies and rhythms, because that's literally just describing music. And don't list what your music is not. Tell me what it is. Now, at the end, you can add your accolades. If you have releases, bookings, press features, or achievements, you need to weave them in naturally. So, an example, I make melodic techno for late night introspection. My track just got signed to Afterlife. Or Think Salute meets Disclosure. I've played Crossed and Deep Tropics. You see how that works? You're not bragging, you're giving context and credibility. So here's your homework. You need to write out 3 versions of your elevator pitch using those methods. Practice them in the mirror, practice them on your friends, get comfortable saying them out loud, because when you're standing next to someone you admire and your heart is racing and your palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms heavy. Wow. Respect Eminem, that's very hard to say. You need to roll this off your tongue like muscle memory. All right, so you've got your goals, you've got your pitch. Now we need to talk about the actual networking part, because I know this is where a lot of you get in your own heads. First, let me say this. Most awkward networking stories have these themes in common: fear of rejection, imposter syndrome, wrong approach or timing, unclear expectations, being too attached to a certain outcome. So let's reframe this. Mindset shifts you need to make. The first shift. It's not about collecting contacts. Making a deep connection with just one person can lead to dozens of other connections. You need to think long-term relationships over quick wins. Shift 2. Everyone started somewhere. Every headliner was once unknown. Every agent used to be an intern. Every label boss was once sending cold emails. Shift 3. Value over validation. Stop seeking approval and instead look for ways to contribute. How can you add value to their life or career? Now, here's some mental blocks to check. 1. I need a reason to be here beyond just being me. Correction. You're part of this scene. Your passion is your permission. Your perspective has value. 2. They probably just think, I'm another wannabe. Correction. Most people are too busy thinking about themselves. 3. I don't have enough followers or releases. Correction. Real relationships aren't built on metrics. 4. I'll look desperate. Correction. Showing interest isn't desperate. Being prepared isn't weird. The reality check is people want to connect with real people. Nobody enjoys talking to a walking EPK. Genuine interest is rare and valuable, and humans bond over stories and lived experiences. Everyone feels imposter syndrome. I feel imposter syndrome. Success doesn't cure insecurity, so you need to use that as rocket fuel. Your curiosity is valuable, and questions show respect. Interest creates opportunities. So let your personality shine through, because you're going to attract the right people if you do this. And you have to accept that who you think you might be the right people might not be the right people. And that's okay. Not everyone's going to be the right person for you, and networking with them is not wasted time because you learn something. All right. A very important component to networking is knowing your venue and knowing your approach, because you don't network the same way in a club as you do in, a conference. So here's the club night do's. These are for quick introductions, Instagram exchanges, and brief, genuine compliments like, oh, let's connect later. I'd love to hear more about what you have going on. Now, the club night don'ts: long conversations, business pitches, or forced meetings, pressing your EPK on someone, like cornering someone in a club. That is the worst thing. It's happened to me multiple times now, and I'm tired of it. Okay, the pre-games and the afters. Now, this is like, you have a little bit more flexibility than in a club. This is a good place for funnier, interesting stories. This is a good place to join a group conversation naturally, like, oh, how do you know so-and-so? This is also when you can connect on something specific from the event, like at the afters. Listen first and then add value. So, you can say, oh, sorry to jump in, but I heard you just mention XYZ. Read social cues, because not every circle wants new people, and that's not a circle you want to be a part of. If you can tell a conversation is starting to dull, take the initiative to close it out on a high note. So you're talking to someone and you kind of notice it's fizzing out. You just say, hey, I'm going to go grab a drink or use the restroom or chat with my friend. It was really great to meet you. I'd love to get your Instagram. This is a great way to end on a high note and not, drag something out. Okay, industry nights. Now, you might have these, these are typically Mondays or Tuesdays where industry people hang out on their off nights. There's more like focused conversations here. They are possible, but people are often also burnt out from a long weekend, especially something like Music Week, so be mindful. For industry nights, you show up consistently. So obviously, if you don't live in Miami, that's not going to apply, but maybe a lot of your scene went to Music Week. Show up consistently to these. Don't have high expectations the first time. Find ways to support people's events. Okay, now, official industry events like Miami Music Nexus. Everyone is here to network, so you can let your guard down a bit. Deep conversations are welcome at these conferences, and follow-ups are anticipated and expected. So you need to come prepared with a couple of goals, 2 to 3 specific people you want to meet. You need to have your pitch ready, your elevator speech, but lead with questions. Bring all your materials, schedule follow-ups on the spot or as soon as possible. Also, arrive early to these, because quality conversations happen before everyone is tired and burnt out from talking. Now, here's how to naturally move through a conversation if you're meeting someone at a conference or industry event. You can start with music talk, move on to recent shows, then to scene chat, what's going on in the scene. Then you naturally weave into mutual connections. Who do you both know, potentially? Then you move to learning opportunities, natural collaboration ideas, shared experiences, and projects or future plans. So let me say that again. Start lightly by talking about music, some recent shows you went to, some things happening in the scene, maybe some mutual connections you have. Then you move to learning opportunities and natural collaboration ideas and shared experiences, and then projects and future plans after you've established all that rapport. Keep it organic. Don't force it. Now, here's another tip from Paul Campbell, who was on my Miami Music Week episode last year. He says if you want to approach an artist, but they're busy or surrounded by people, go to their manager instead. That manager's job is to find new talent and opportunities. So if you approach them professionally, they're way more likely to have time for you, and they can filter your music before sending it to an artist. So do your homework, know who's on their team. That's what separates amateurs from pros. All right, so Miami Music Week happens. You met some people, you exchanged Instagrams. Now what? This is where a lot of people drop the ball because networking doesn't end when the event ends. The follow-up is where the magic happens. So here's your plan. 30 days post-Music Week. You need to identify 3 key relationships to build. Create a relationship map for each person. Who do they know? What do they care about? And what you can offer. Start meaningful social engagement if you didn't do this pre-Music Week. Not just liking posts, but thoughtful comments. Not fire emojis, actual full sentences that you didn't get from ChatGPT. Also, attend 2 to 3 local events in your own city to keep momentum. Okay, that's your 30-day plan. Your 60 days post-Miami Music Week. You need to aim to deepen 1 or 2 connections by offering something of value. Collaboration, a resource, an introduction. Now continue to stay visible without being annoying and follow up thoughtfully. Reference something specific from your conversation. Track your interactions in a spreadsheet. I'm so serious about this. How often you DM, text, email, whatever. That's really going to give you a full picture of how far you've come. Okay. 90 days post-Music Week, so we're talking 3 months here. Review and adjust your strategy. What worked, what didn't? What tracks got signed? What gigs were booked? Evaluate which relationships brought actual opportunities. Strengthen the connections that matter most. Plan your next targets for the rest of the year. Do not discard people just because you didn't get what you want immediately. That's one of the worst things you could do. All right, now I would be remiss to not tell you about something that I am so proud of. On March 26th at Midline in Wynwood, a gorgeous new venue, my business partner Sherm and I are bringing Chicago Music Nexus to Miami Music Week, aka Miami Music Nexus. Before you roll your eyes and think, oh, another conference, let me tell you what makes us different. We are small and independent. We are not a giant corporate conference that sees you as a ticket number. We actually give a shit about your success. When you come to Nexus, you become part of our community. And we focus on real strategies, not fluff. Our panels aren't surface level, follow your dreams BS. We bring in agents, managers, promoters, and artists who give you actionable advice that you can implement immediately. And you can actually have conversations with speakers because limited capacity means you're not fighting through 500 people to ask one question. You can have real extended networking sessions with panelists. We are here for the long game. This isn't one and done. We stay in touch with our alumni. We watch your progress. We celebrate your wins. All right, so what's included in Miami Music Nexus? You get access to all the panel discussions, extended networking sessions. You get catering throughout the day, cash bar. We're doing mentor sessions. We are doing demo feedback. And also, as a bonus, you get complimentary access to select blank canvas events. Also, remember, this is a tax write-off. It's an educational event, which means it's a deductible Miami Music Week expense. All right, let's get into the programming. Panel 1, ride or die, building fans who actually give a fuck. Everyone's got followers and likes, but who actually shows up when you drop a new track or announce a show? This panel is about building a fan base that doesn't just double tap. They buy tickets, they bring friends, they defend you in the comments. Panel 2, winning the middle, the smart way to building a touring career. We're so stoked about this panel. Everyone wants to break into LA, NYC, and Miami, but those are the most expensive, most competitive, and most saturated markets on the planet. This panel breaks down how smart agents and managers build artists by owning mid-tier markets first. So think Indiana, Columbus, Milwaukee, Detroit, Cleveland. These are cities where fans show up, tickets are affordable, and communities actually form. Panel 3, this is backed by popular demand, social media secrets for creators. This was the most talked about panelist at Miami Music Nexus 2025. We're bringing it back with an all-new lineup of creators sharing insider strategies on how to build a following that actually supports your career. Now, the speakers, this is what we're stoked about because it's Miami Music Week. Everyone is there. We've got Nitty, Sippy, Mary Droppins, Zach Rubin, who's the founder or co-founder of Breakaway Music Festival. We've got a couple of agents. We've got Thatch Sammet from Laylo. We've got Manny Lopez, the founder of House Hats Collective. We have Paul Campbell, new management. We have a couple of folks from Blank Canvas, Paul Reed, Eric Fuller. We have Rishi Patel from Plus8 Equity Partners. We have Hope Lansing from Calculated Creative, and a lot more to be announced. So some success stories from our alumni, because I want you guys to hear about these people. Let me tell you about a couple of folks who came to Chicago Music Nexus and put in the work. Ray Callahan. This guy has been locked into our content and advice from day one. He came to both Chicago Music Nexus events. And not only that, he volunteered at the second one, even though he bought a ticket. My partner Sherm has gotten him shows at Soundbar here in Chicago. And Ray lives in Minnesota, by the way. So he's traveled in for these shows. And he also got him a slot at North Coast Music Festival. Ray recently took our advice and threw his own event. He's a sax player and house DJ, building a really unique brand, and he never gives up. He always puts in the hustle. We see him, we follow his progress, and we are so proud of his growth. Now, another Chicago Music Nexus alumni, Lindsay Simon. This woman goes for it. She saw this flash deal I posted one day. It was an in-depth Instagram profile review in exchange for a Chicago Music Nexus ticket, and she jumped at this chance. She bought a ticket, and I reviewed her profile. Now, Lindsay grew a fan base in Boston, did everything she could there. Then she applied for a DJ contest for the Porque No Festival in Tulum. She ended up having an amazing time, met producers and event throwers, and played so many gigs that she decided to pick up her life and move there. I'm pretty sure as I'm recording this, she just moved there today. That is insane, and that's the exact kind of courage we love to see from CMN alumni. I stay in touch with her. I'm so excited about her journey. When you come to Nexus, you're going to get inspired. You're going to meet people like Ray and Lindsay who are in the trenches with you, grinding it out, making things happen. And here's the thing. Most Miami Music Week events are parties disguised as networking. Nexus is the opposite. It's education and networking with a party vibe. And you get to meet amazing people like Lindsay and Ray. This is a true community. Tickets are available now. We have limited capacity. When it's sold out, it's sold out. So you guys know what to do. I want to see you all there. That is your weekly elevation. If you are going to Miami Music Week, do the work, prep your elevator pitch, know your goals, network with intention, follow up like your career depends on it, because it does. And if you actually want to make meaningful connections in an environment that's designed for your success, I'll see you at Miami Music Nexus on March 26th. Remember, success in dance music isn't about luck, it's about strategy. I will talk to you next week.